Reverend Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United in Peace, Inc. Political statements that I'll be saying is not speaking on behalf of United in Peace, Inc. Not just me as being a registered voter that's stating how Reverend Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley stand on the issues. We got a very important show. A lot of things have been happening. A lot of shootings over the 4th of July weekend. And with all the shootings and the homicides, what's really frightening to me is that number, as high as it was the lowest in about 3 or 4 years. I want to say to God be the glory on that, because one shooting, one homicide is one too many. This show is being produced and the issues were brought so I can share them with you by none other than the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. And that's none other than Dr. Terry Marsh Bradley. And I'm so blessed to be her husband. I don't know what to do. To God be the glory. But hey, there's a lot of things that's happening. Y'all know it. I ain't got to explain to you what Trump did with the big bill and all that, you know. I just say pray, 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 pray. But without further ado, with all the violence and all the madness that was happening, all the hate that was happening, sometime all we need is the witness, love, to be in a room where people are happy that someone is in love, and especially when this young man was listening, I guess, to Beyonce, because his fiance was listening, and he heard her. He put a ring on it. So without further ado, Amani, let's share this. Love.
Continue to grow with you. And I want to continue to build more memories with you. I want to continue to build with you, continue to grow with you. So with that being said, never shy, Andrea Ellis.
You know, that was my son. The wonderful thing about watching the coming together of two families, that was where he met her at. That was the bar that he met her at, and they both professional individuals, and sat down, they have a drink, and so he surprised her. he sent out a lot of things to our family and friends and her family and friends, and they all met up at this bar. And everyone came to the bar like they normally do, a brunch, pay for their own drinks, pay for their own food that they like. So they sent her to go and get something from the drugstore for her grandmother. When she got there was nothing at the drugstore for her grandmother, so she's trying to figure out what's happening. So her sister bring her to the restaurant. And when she opened the door and she see my son, Cod, we call him Cod, his name is Cadmiel, she didn't know what to do. She was like, what's happening? And when he bring her in and walked her around the room and she saw her family and friends and saw our family and friends. And for the 4th of July, my sons and their friends had a barbecue along with their fiancés. So all the young ladies that were there did not tell her what was being planned for Sunday. He went through the whole courting process. I had to go through the courting process. What do you mean courting process, Gator? Well, that's come to where you're a young man, you get introduced to the young lady's father. Y'all may have a drink or something, and he take you over to the side, and he asks you that question that was asked of him. What is your plans for my daughter? She met our family. It was just a tradition that sometimes we forget, but it makes life better for us all. So without further ado, I want to say congratulations to the both of them. My son Carmiel and his fiance. Check this name out, y'all. Her name is Never Shy. Wow. To God be the glory for their love. Without further ado, let's get to the matter at hand. Amani, what's the next one? Yeah.
With more on this, Andrea.
Hi, Pat and Dina. Yeah, the mayor had a press conference regarding this, and Brandon Johnson touched briefly on the impact also of President Trump's legislation, but his main focus was public safety over the holiday weekend. The mayor credited collaborative efforts between city agencies, local organizations, and law enforcement for helping drive down the violence. Now, while also recognizing there's still work to be done to create lasting change. The mayor highlighted that the city saw its least violent holiday weekend in at least 6 years, a sign, he says, that efforts to reduce violence are showing results. Nevertheless, at least 9 people were killed and more than 40 others were hurt. The mayor credited targeted police deployments in areas like the beach and other high traffic spots where large crowds gather. He also noted that since taking office, more than 20,000 guns have been removed from the streets, but violence remains a serious issue still. The city has seen 3 mass shootings in the past week, one in River North, another in Riverdale, and a third in back of the yards. The mayor and his team called the River North shooting one of the worst in recent city history, with 18 people shot and 4 dead. He stressed the need to invest in communities, expanding access to mental health services, job programs, and youth outreach to prevent future violence and support neighborhoods hit the hardest.
Well, yeah, I'll pass it to our deputy mayor. One of the things that, I did do is I spent some more time with CVI this weekend, and there are many CVI groups across the city that do that work all day, every day. Some of the specific strategies around how we provide services, particularly at hospitals and in those spaces, to reduce the chances of that type of retaliation.
Now, as far as President Trump's tax bill, the mayor says cutting from the poor and working people is going to result in 1 million Chicagoans losing Medicaid and almost 600,000 losing their SNAP benefits. Now, his office says that they will be conducting an analysis to see the full impact of that. We are live outside City Hall. Andrea Medina, WGN News.
I'm of the opinion and the belief that those individuals are going to get apprehended. Because of what they did and for what reason. For what reason? If it was somebody mad at somebody, whatever it was, but for what reason? And then before the week is out, it was another mass shooting. I think 7 people got shot. I think a little young girl got shot. She was from Inglewood, and she was with this youthful organization called First Responders, trying to turn the tide on violence. I just want to say, if you're in the praying business, pray to God through His Son to help find a way to eliminate the senseless violence. And then get out the way. There's an issue, I believe, that's happening with the schools, if I'm not mistaken. They got to lay off the teachers because of the budget, and we got a new school president, school board president, and I believe things gonna turn out okay. As long as we all work together with one purpose, and that is to bring better education to the city of Chicago, especially with what we witnessing that's happening in Washington, D.C., where they're trying to get rid of the Department of Education. So without further ado, Amani, let's go to the next one. No, this is a good one. We're going to talk about this right here. Let's go with this.
Well known to Governor JB Pritzker, having served for more than 4 years in his administration as deputy governor, Mitchell tells me he's ready to step back into public service in whatever way the governor needs him. Christian Mitchell will be leaving his job as vice president for civic engagement at the University of Chicago to serve as Governor JB Pritzker's new running mate.
The governor and I stayed friends even during the entire time I was in the private sector. We spoke quite a bit, and so I think we first started speaking about this a couple weeks ago. It was a pretty fast process.
The official announcement that Mitchell was the choice to be the candidate for lieutenant governor came in a video Pritzker released this morning. It was recorded the week of June 16th, the week before Pritzker formally launched his campaign for a third term. Why would you want to leave a nice university VP job to be the lieutenant governor candidate?
I love the state of Illinois, and I love public services in my heart. It was really nice to be at the university, and certainly I wasn't looking to leave, but I've dedicated my life to public service.
On Monday, Pritzker said the most important quality of a lieutenant governor is the ability to step into the role of governor if needed.
I'll certainly be ready to do that. I was fortunate to oversee some of our largest agencies as deputy governor, to pass really big pieces of legislation with the support of our colleagues in the legislature on infrastructure and on clean energy. I'll be ready if necessary.
Today, after a downstate bill signing, Pritzker praising Mitchell as someone he's grown to trust.
So he's a guy who knows how to get big things done. I've worked with him to get it done, and I'm excited for the people of Illinois to get to know him and also for him to become one of their leaders.
Mitchell credits his mother, a nurse for 38 years, for shaping him into who he is. He said he got emotional seeing her pictures in the finished video, calling her his hero and favorite person.
So she showed me what it looks like to have compassion, what it looks like to work hard, what it means to stand up for what you believe is right, and that if you are not making the world a better place, then you are not paying your rent for living on this earth.
Could he see himself one day running for governor?
I think when you do your job well, the future takes care of itself, and right now I'm running to be lieutenant governor to support Governor Pritzker's agenda to keep advancing the lives of working families and the middle class in the state of Illinois.
Mitchell was careful to steer clear of questions about the possibility of Pritzker running for president, saying they'll cross that bridge when they come to it. He said he talked with current Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton last night for some tips about getting back on the campaign trail. Pritzker, for his part, said today that he actually had considered a number of different people in government and outside of government, said this was a tough choice, but obviously he believes Christian Mitchell is going to be the best one for the job.
You know, a young brother, Lieutenant Governor Mitchell, I know him. I watched him grow up into this moment. He's done a lot of things in the state. He's done a lot of things in the private sector. We never forget the love for his city, for his county, and for his state. I'm of the opinion and belief that JB Pritzker couldn't have picked a better candidate than this young man to run for lieutenant governor. And now the time that we all got to come together in the state and stand together and make sure we keep the state and the city and the county blue. If we was arguing with one another before, we may argue with one another again. But one thing for sure, that tsunami of hate that's coming from D.C., that bill that they passed, and because I always tell people, if you don't know what's really happening, how to get through it, read the first and second book of Samuel. Read and use the book of Job as your GPS to get through this, to navigate through this. So without further ado, let's hit the CPS story. I think that's the next one.
2024-2025 school year seemed to be, for leadership especially of the Chicago Public Schools. We have a mixture of elected and appointed school board members now. CPS CEO Pedro Martinez is of course out, and we have an interim who's been named. So now the hunt is on for the person who will actually lead the district into the future for many years to come. And I'm happy to have CPS board president Sean Hardin here with me today to talk more about the search criteria and the next steps. Good morning.
Good morning.
Such an important time for the district.
Absolutely.
And you're really at the helm of this. So let's first talk about the community engagement part. I know that you all, the board just wrapped up some community hearings that were taking place. You all had an agency that you worked with, like 11 listening sessions, focus groups, all of that.
All of it.
Tell me what you learned and why that aspect of it was so important.
So it was absolutely critical that we have community voice really inform the decision making. We knew from the onset that that had to be a critical component. So I think one of the top things that we learned is that the community wants to have someone that has high integrity and can really rebuild the trust, right? It's going to lead with, equity and student voice being at the center of decision making. So it was very, very insightful. They didn't pull any punches in letting us know exactly what the attributes should be of the next leader.
Yeah, that's not really what Chicagoans do, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
They're going to let you know. They're going to let you know. So after doing that, you have what they've said and then what you all are looking for in terms of your own criteria. Being the head of CPS, of course, is an honor, but it's no easy job for anyone to step into. So what are some of the top leadership characteristics, the qualities, the qualifications that the board is looking for in the next superintendent or CEO? And I also want to ask you about that distinction, too.
Sure. So I think one of the key characteristics or values that we want the next leader to bring to the table is being both politically savvy and very, very hyper collaborative. I mean, this is a job that requires addition, not subtraction, being able to engage all stakeholders from across the city. We have a complex district, it's pretty big. We also have one of the largest boards in the country as well. So you'll need to be able to traverse all of that, working with local elected officials, the mayor's office, the board, community stakeholders, and we have a multi-billion-dollar budget. So someone's going to have to come to the table with innovative ideas of how we can bring revenue and create some financial stability for the district.
Yeah, so let me go back to that superintendent / CEO. Are you still open to having a CEO? Have you all turned to having a superintendent? And explain to people the difference.
Yeah, so I think the CEO position came into place in 1995 when it was managed by then Mayor Daley. So the board has since made the decision to shift to a superintendent, where the professional education license is a requirement. And so I think it's really a demonstration of wanting to have someone that has that education background, understands the classroom well, and can drive academic outcomes going forward, particularly in those communities that have been underserved.
Yeah, and now let me kind of press in on a couple of things that you mentioned in terms of the budget and also enrollment. There is declining enrollment in the district, and there are budget challenges from day one. So if we're being honest, there's a lot of pride in the district, but a list of challenges that anyone would have to face. So what would you say priority-wise are maybe the toughest issues out the gate for that person?
Yeah, so I think one thing you have to appreciate is that the next leader will not be doing this in isolation. This will require a highly collaborative individual who knows how to drive highly functional teams. Because we do have budget challenges, we're going to need to have someone that's financially savvy, that can bring new ideas to the table and really engender this spirit of collaboration downstate, as well as with local elected officials, because it's going to take all of us to really deal with this. It's not one issue, right? The priority is going to be building that trust, identifying those top priorities for the community, and being able to turn that into action.
Okay, not much time left, but I need to ask you, what is the next step?
So the next step is we're developing a prospectus that really takes into consideration all the input we receive from the community. Once we have that developed, we'll then...
That's a wonderful thing and energy, and I'm glad that Mayor Brandon picked that man to be the school board president. For clarification and transparency, everyone know that I endorse JB Pritzker for governor in 2026, along with his running mate for lieutenant governor, as well as Juliana Stratton for the United States Senate. United and Peace Inc. didn't endorse him. Reverend Dr. Wallace Bradley did. So without further ado, Amani, let's go to this last one. I'm going to close out.
Governor Pritzker hitting the campaign trail with his new running mate for the first time. Political reporter Taman Bradley was there.
Lunchtime at Peaches in Bronzeville. On the menu, retail politics, starring Governor JB Pritzker and his running mate Christian Mitchell, marking their first campaign stop together. With Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton vying for U.S. Senate, Mitchell steps in for her on the ballot. Pritzker and Mitchell stress it's a smooth transition. They worked well together during Mitchell's tenure as deputy governor.
Everywhere in the state of Illinois, we have worked hard to lift people up. We're going to continue to do that as a team.
Various Chicago politicals happened to be at Peaches when Pritzker and Mitchell stopped by. Former Congressman Bobby Rush was there, as well as the president of the Chicago Public School Board, Sean Hardin, who said he came out to show support for Pritzker and Mitchell.
At the heart of it, I think they appreciate the importance of education. There's no doubt about that. And we just have to rebuild the relationship.
Peaches sits in the State House district that Mitchell represented for 6 years. He received a hero's welcome.
Solomon is my jiu-jitsu professor.
Is that true?
Yeah, he runs the new Southside Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Oh my gosh, is he any good?
In selecting Mitchell, the governor said he wanted someone who could take over for him if necessary. Both men are from Chicago, so their first campaign stop together is here, but they'll be traveling downstate soon.
When you're a state rep, you don't just represent the people of your district. You also are voting on things that are good for people all across the state.
My first hearing when I was chair of the Committee on Economic Opportunity was in Carbondale to talk about the impacts of higher education cuts in the previous administration on those towns. I plan to go everywhere, be everywhere, meet people where they are.
The path to securing statewide victory for a Democrat usually includes running up the vote totals among African Americans, making Bronzeville an obvious first campaign stop. Taman Bradley, WGN News.
Well, I want to say this. Pray and vote and pray some more. To God be the glory. That's Gator's story.